This may look to you just like any old beer, mate, but I'll tell you now, this is the most hard-earned beer in my 48 years to date. I know, it's you can't believe I'm 48, can you? I look a lot younger. Let me explain why. Well, I'm sitting on a bucket in the middle of the island, so nothing too extraordinary about that. But hold on, wait a minute, what's been going on here? We've started the Goathouse, guys. Today was the first day, and it started at 7:30 this morning, and yours truly was in with the goats. After I fed the goats, I was busy cutting all these old bits of gattin and eucalyptus, making loads of steaks. And then the guy that's come to help build this, we call him Nalur. We then started to carry this little bit of timber that you see in a rectangle shape here. So I've been working alongside Nalur all day, and Mrs. Crabtree has helped us for a couple of hours as well. That's right, I've finally almost got Super Tune back up to 100% capacity. I think she's at about 90% now. So I learned a lot setting this up, watching Nalur, mainly how we use the little white hose over there, filled with water, and then got everything nice and level. And then we got a really strong fishing line, and stretched it all out along here. Put loads of little nails in, measuring and tweaking everything, getting everything nice and square. Then we put little stakes in where the posts were going to go. Then he popped in little stakes where the posts are going to be positioned. And then we started the arduous task of digging the footings. So there's 12 in total, and it's been hard going. So how many we got done? We've got 10 and a half. No, we got 11 and a half done. And it came to 5 o'clock, and Nalur finally gave up. I think he wanted to get the whole thing done, but Toon and I were nagging him. Look, Rome wasn't built in a day, so to speak, and we're still waiting for a delivery of the sand and cement and the posts. So we weren't really in a rush to get all this finished, but he was on a mission, and I understand why, because we weren't supposed to be starting the Goathouse. Toon and him were supposed to be doing the little solar shack in the middle of our four fish ponds in the yonder. But he did say, look, I'm only here until the rains come. And him and his wife are renting the last 10 rye of our farm off Toon's mum. We let her do what she wants with the 10 rye every year. And they're waiting to put their cassava in. So they're just waiting for the rain. And after a big downpour, they're going to put the cassava in. And he's back off to Bangkok. So, and he works full-time as a builder there. So he said, look, I don't know how long I'm going to be here for. If your Goathouse is the most important thing, which of course it is, he said, let's go for it. And amazingly, well, first off, the first thing that's really amazing, he's working on a day rate, just 400 baht. So most people do this as a set price, and they work it out per post. So he did ask if he could have some help. And me being me, not Mrs. Crabtree, I said to her, I tell you what, no. Because a few people had turned their nose up in the village about helping us. And I said, I quite fancy building this and learning from a builder. So I said, no, I'll work alongside him. And I tell you what, I was struggling to keep up with him a lot of the time. I mean, it was red hot today, and you can see there's just no cover around here at all. Toom made a nice effort trying to put these umbrellas up while we were digging the holes, but it was bloody hard work, really, really hard going. And unfortunately, I put my gloves on a little bit too late, so I've got blisters on my blisters. But we had plenty of electrolytes, lots of water, and I do struggle to eat much during the day when it's really hot if I'm working, but I made a concerted effort today, and I don't feel too bad. I'm in a lot of pain, but he who dares wins, Rodney. So tomorrow, first off in the morning, we're going to get the last post in, the last hole dug. So that'll be 4 holes ready for the posts, and then we're going to put a concrete base, reinforced concrete base, at the bottom of each hole before we get the posts in. But a lot of it will depend on when the stuff is delivered. But even so, if it comes to a grinding halt, then we can just work for half a day. Or I said to Toon, I said, but there's so much timber to move over here, we could start moving it and retreating it before we start putting it all together. Exciting time. So spacing between the posts is 3 meters, and we're only going to go a meter off the ground. I wanted it really high. I wanted it well, just over my height, and I'm 5'6½", and the idea was for me to be able to walk underneath without banging my head, so that I could clean out the vermicompost units underneath. We're going to have to put that on hold indefinitely for this one, but this is only the starting point. The reason we want this fairly low to the ground is the wind. Since we've had this all cleared, and on the last video, I'm sure you'll appreciate, it was pretty bad audio, and there's a bit of a breeze now. It's just so open. Until we can get some height on the land with some trees, which is going to take quite a while, we don't want the house too high. So it's just going to be like a metre off the ground. That's enough room to scrape all the crap out. So if you imagine, we've got one post hole here going out 3 meters to the middle, and basically you can just buy the what could you call them, the little metal heads to scrape everything back towards you, and you just stick it on a 3 meter length bamboo pole, so I can just rake everything straight out to me and then put it around the land or compost it further. So at the moment it's 9 meters by 6, but it's purely a starting point. What we've decided is, fund wise, this is all we can afford to do at the moment, because we've got to leave enough money to increase the size of the herd, and then the idea is, as the herd increases, the herd will actually pay for the expansion of the goathouse. There's Mrs. Crabtree, look at that. We did use our new post hole driller a bit. The only thing is, there's so many rocks in here, it was quite dangerous, and it nearly ripped the arms out of my sockets a few times. All right, my dear. Toon is feeling what we say in the building trade as bollocks. Obviously not working as hard as I was, but she did well.
Fucking work hard. Don't you start on. Look, how bad that?
What, you still got 5 fingers? You haven't got blisters on your blisters, have you? Look at that.
I am, look.
I've got like a really poorly paw. Wow, look at the sun. Japanese sun, that is. Superb. So that's it, guys. My beer was well earned. Toon only got a small beer because she only worked half a day, and well, that's nice and cool. This is it. Day one of the Goathouse project.
This he mouse.
My mouse?
Yeah, he mouse.
My mouth. I've not got a bad mouth.
Penis mouth.
I don't think so. Stay tuned for part 2.
Oh, look at my.
It's going to be another fun-packed mini-series, just like the Lake Dig project. Cheers. Cheers, missus.
Cheers.